a fantasy anime movie with demi-humans and a Lich King. Let's talk about Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom, which comes to theaters on November 8th, 2024. It is a new movie. I believe it's based on a series. I have never watched the series, so it was a little bit confusing, but it is an over 2 hour movie that has, I guess, our favorite characters from the series and some really good animation. Is this movie worth watching? My hot take is yes. I think you should watch it. I like this movie. I thought it was really fun. I like the animation. I liked the violence. It's very violent. I liked the characters. It was definitely a very well done movie, and I hadn't seen anything of Overlord. So even if you haven't seen it, you can watch this and still enjoy it. Some things I didn't love as much, but overall, I thought this was a really entertaining movie. I thought it was really well done. It's a little bit long, but that's what you expect from a movie with so much backstory. So I definitely think you should check it out when it comes to theaters on November 8th, 2024. So I'm going to tell you a little about the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this movie, and you might not, there are some big shock twists along the way. I would turn it off when I get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when you get to those spoilers. So in Overlord, you have the Sacred Kingdom. It is a prosperous kingdom. It has, lived for years until the invasion by some new forces forced the Sacred Kingdom to try to reach out to find allies. And they find an ally that they never expected to ally with and maybe might do some good or evil. We'll find out. So things I liked about this movie. The first, I love the animation. It's beautiful. It is a fantasy style. It definitely looks gorgeous. It looks wonderful. There's a nice variety of different kinds of troops. There's a nice variety of movements. There is just a really beautiful animation style here, and I loved it. I thought that this movie was striking right from the start. The second thing I loved, it's an action movie. It's got really good violence, really good animated violence. I loved it. It was gory. It was dark, just what you would expect from a kind of like fantasy anime movie. The last thing I love the characters. There's some really fun characters. There's a nice variety of characters. One character I didn't like. You'll find that out in the things I didn't love. But overall, I liked all the different types of characters. There were so many. Very, very kind of imaginative world. I assume there's a lot of backstory here that they just kind of used for this movie. So, all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first, some of the battles aren't animated. They skip some, which is weird. Like, this movie seems to be big, it seems to be impactful, and there are a couple key fights that you just don't see, which was frustrating. Because I liked the fights. That was my favorite part. I love seeing the fights. That's the best part about like an action anime, is seeing the fights. And there were a couple big ones that they just like didn't show. Second thing I didn't love as much. There's a character in this called Custodio. She kind of sucks. I didn't like her. She seemed angry all the time, seemed upset all the time. You kind of get that in some anime characters. Like some anime characters can't process feelings, and so they just like stew for a very long time. That's Custodio. So, but all that being said, Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom comes to theaters on November 8th, 2024. Like I said, I definitely think you should watch it. I definitely think you should check it out. It is a really fun film. It's a good film. It's beautifully animated. So if you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap. I will do my best. This is a long movie, but I'm going to try to go very quickly into a recap so I don't take too much time, mostly because I don't have the time to do it. So if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. In Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom, you have the Sacred Kingdom. This city that is doing well, I guess. It's been stood for years. I guess there is like a northern Sacred Kingdom and a southern Sacred Kingdom, but overall, it seems like a fine place to live until this demon, and I'm going to butcher this name so much. This demon named Jaldabaoth comes with an army of demi-humans and just like wreaks havoc on this Sacred Kingdom. You'd think they would do better. They can barely like hold up. Jaldabaoth like takes them all out very early. Knights try to stay out the attack, but the demons are, basically overpowering them. And during this fight, this Princess Kalka is taken by the demon, by Jaldabaoth, and used kind of like a club. It is very bloody. Like, I was a little bit surprised, but I did like it. Like, it's kind of a nice touch when anime gets a little bit more bloody. She was used like a club. Not good for her. I don't believe she survived. We don't know until much later, but I don't think she survived from that. And the kind of paladins and knights retreat from the city. The Sacred Kingdom falls. Jaldabaoth is here. So they go looking for allies to come help them, and they find an ally in in a unlikely place. They go to a place called the Sorcerer Kingdom, which seems to be kind of like a melting pot. It looks scary. There's like skeletons and junk when they come in, but it seems like a melting pot of places. A bunch of demi-humans are there. Everyone seems to be living peacefully. It seems to be thriving. And the leader of the Sorcerer Kingdom is the Sorcerer King Ains Gaun, I believe. Ains Algun, Ains Gaun, something like that. He is the leader of the Sorcerer King. I believe he's also like the main character in Overlord, the series. They didn't really go into much detail on the backstory, which I'm fine with, right? Like I got enough of it, so I didn't need to have all the backstory. But I think he's a main character in the Overlord series. But he is a main character here because the Sacred Kingdom folks come to try to get some help, and he agrees to help them take back the Sacred Kingdom. He agrees to help them fight Jaldabaoth and retake their world. So the Sorcerer King agrees to help. I guess one of the reasons he wants to help is like he wants some, maids that are serving the demons that have taken the Sacred Kingdom. So he wants to like defeat Jaldabaoth, take those maids, get them back to his kingdom. I guess they're powerful, so maybe it's a little bit there. But he agrees to help. So he gets in his carriage and goes back. But it's just him, just the Sorcerer King. He's the only one that's going to help. Is that going to be enough? We'll find out. But he gets like a retainer, I guess. This person named Lady Baraha, who is part of the Sacred Kingdom. She is like becomes his assistant during this time, and so they seem to form a friendship. He seems to like her. She seems to like really respect him. And their friendship is a really important part of this overall story. Now, on their way back, when they're about to go fight the forces of the Sacred Kingdom, the Sorcerer King gives her this like super bow, this powerful bow engraven with runes. It's a super powerful weapon. She seems very, very excited, but also she's like super humble. She's like, you don't have to give that to me. That's so good. But he's just like, take it. You'll need it. And he says, give this back to me. So it's like, I'm going to give this to you. You have to survive, and then you can give it back to me later. And when they get back to the Sacred Kingdom, the assault starts, and the Sorcerer King is supposed to stay back. Like he's supposed to preserve his strength for the fight against Jaldabaoth. But the paladins need his help, so he comes and starts the assault. And one of the things that he does, they're using like hostages. They like threaten this boy, like they said, get back, or else we're gonna kill him. So the paladins all back up. But the Sorcerer King comes in and just like lobs a fireball, blows up the gate, kills everyone there, including the boy. And everyone's upset about this. Well, at least the paladins are. And he's like, look, we can't show them they can use hostages. If we do that, they're just going to use all the hostages. If we show that we don't care, then they're not going to use the hostages. And also, like, what are we going to do? We're not like we can't stop this assault. We got to retake the city. So some people, you get basically like if you're going to make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs. Now during this fight, this large goat thing, Grand King Busser comes and like is gonna fight the Sorcerer King. And you're like, okay, sweet, a big fight. And then they just like skip that. I think he fights later. I think he's later in, but this fight we don't see. When I was annoyed, I was like, I want to see this. It's like a powerful king versus the Sorcerer King. That would be cool to see. Completely skipped. So it seems like they retake the Sacred Kingdom. They, entrench themselves, but the next morning, a bunch of demi-humans come and get ready to assault. Now, they wait a few days because Lord Jaldabaoth wants them to grow their anxiety, grow their anticipation. But eventually they do attack, and they've got hostages as, like, armor. And again, everyone is, like, super concerned about this. But Lady Baraha, because she has been learning from the Sorcerer King, because she's learning his tactics, she just takes a bow and, boom, fires right into one of them. Same idea. We can't show them, like, we can't not attack them. They got to stop them. And we can't show them that they're going to be able to stop, that they're going to be able to, like, roll over us if they've got hostages. So she does that. The fight happens. They are able to fight them off. Eventually, there are, like, 3 Beast Kings that come to attack. And Custodio, the one that I don't really like, is there. She takes on one of the Beast Kings. She has 2 of her other paladins fight as well. They get taken out almost immediately. Custodio does a good job, but, she's outmatched. This person is too strong. And she also uses her strongest strike against the thing that she's fighting, and it doesn't affect them. Eventually, the Sorcerer King comes and just like decimates them super quickly. He's like really powerful. And then he also calls forth like flaming horses to go and take out the other demi-humans who are attacking. Basically, he like single-handedly beats them. Now, Lady Baraha is fighting, and she is luckily protected by more items that the Sorcerer King gave. Before this assault, he gave her like special armor, special like bracelets, a special visor that helps her aim. She is all decked out. But she is outnumbered. She's on a different part of the fight. The Sorcerer King has taken out all the enemies over by Custodio, and eventually it seems like Baraha is about to die. She gets stabbed, but then the Sorcerer King comes to help. He fights them all off. He gives Lady Baraha some potions to heal her, and it seems like he has taken a liking to her. It seems like he, really appreciates her help and wants to protect her. So Sorcerer King wins. Everyone's happy. Everyone's like thanking him for doing this because he is the reason they're alive. And Custodio is just like angry. She's like, oh, like, I don't know why she's mad. I wrote in my notes, like, why are you mad? You asked for help. Like, what are you so angry about? She's just angry. I guess she doesn't want the Sorcerer King to get the praise. Maybe she doesn't like the fact that he's undead. I don't know. She's just mean, and she's very angry that he is like helping them and getting all the praise. I guess she thinks that the Sorcerer King and Jaldabaoth conspired somehow. I don't know how they would conspire, but she thinks that they did. So eventually, after all of this, Jaldabaoth comes and attacks. He's still using Princess Kalka as a weapon. She is not looking good. She's very burned. It seems like he said he lost half of her, so she's basically dead, but he's still using her. Good psychological warfare tactic there. He takes out a bunch of people, but then he says he's here to fight the Sorcerer King, and so they fight. Unfortunately, the Sorcerer King has used up so much magic during the other fights to defend the weak humans that he is not at full power against Jaldabaoth. They have an epic fight. There is a big flash, and again, this is one of those fights you don't actually see. Like it takes place in the distance. There's a big old flash of fire and whatnot, and something like goes off like a shooting star essentially, and apparently Jaldabaoth wins. So not good. Everyone is kind of upset about this, especially Baraha. She is very upset that the Sorcerer King might be dead. So she kind of goes into mourning. Now later, she still thinks the Sorcerer King might be alive. Everyone else thinks he's dead, but she's going to go look for him, and she's going to need help. It's a very big area. They only saw like kind of where he went, so she's going to need some help. A group of like lizard people kind of things, the Zerns, say that they're going to help, but they first want to get their king back. Their king was taken hostage by the demons, and so if Baraha and this new demon maid, who is interesting, she's fun, but she also has a gun, so like that was kind of weird, world breaking. Everyone else's fantasy, she has like a gun. If Baraha helps them free their prince, the Zerns will send 3,000 troops to help for the surge. So they go in secretly, kind of like a Trojan horse. They take out one of the guards, but then they have to fight this like two-headed magic user. One of the heads is Princess Kalka, and the other head is one of the Zern heads. It has super magic. It's super powerful, but they are able to take it out. They're able to fight. And so eventually they do win. Now, after they save the Zern prince, the Zern are very happy, but Jaldabaoth comes and reattacks. And Custodio fights him. She is very hot-headed. She does her best, but she's no match for Jaldabaoth. But then, right after we get all these Zern who are ready to go search for the Sorcerer King, the demon maid CZ says, like, you don't have to. And she's like, why? And she points over. There's a bunch of like troops coming. They're holding the Sorcerer King flag. Apparently, the Sorcerer King is alive. He didn't die. He just shot off somewhere, recovered, and now he's back. He comes back. He takes on Jaldabaoth. They fight. They have an epic fight. But again, this fight is just like big old flashes of light. It is impressive sounding, but I wanted to see more. But the Sorcerer King prevails. The Sorcerer King wins. Later, we see Baraha, who seems to be almost like an emissary for him, talking about how the king defeated Jaldabaoth, and she's like recruiting people to worship the Sorcerer King. So it seems like she is fully in his camp, even though she still is part of the Sacred Kingdom. That was a weird part of this, but she is recruiting for the Sorcerer King. Everything seems better. Jaldabaoth is dead. The kingdom is back, and so the Sorcerer King and the maid CZ decide to go back to the Sorcerer Kingdom. They get into their carriage. They leave. Baraha is there. She is, sad to see him go. I don't know why she doesn't come with him. She seems like she is basically his troop at this point. She served with him. He protected her. She is now preaching for him. So it feels like she should go back to the Sorcerer Kingdom and just like become a member of the Sorcerer Kingdom. But she decides to stay here. He departs to go back to the Sorcerer Kingdom. Baraha cries, and she says that she'll spread his justice throughout the kingdom. So I guess she's going to stay here and be like an emissary for him. So it's kind of a nice ending, but then we see something new. A demon is talking to the king of the Sacred Kingdom. This is Lord Demiurge, and he is hoping to split the kingdoms. And he says everything is going to plan. I guess they're trying to create a civil war. The kingdom already had some unrest, and so they're trying to like create a civil war that will drive the people to seek asylum in the Sorcerer Kingdom and increase the Sorcerer Kingdom's control over this. And it seems like Baraha is going to help because she's going to be recruiting people to go to the Sorcerer Kingdom. So she's going to help with the influence. And the Sorcerer King was kind of involved in this. I guess he faked his own death to kind of achieve this goal. So it seems like maybe Custodio was right. Maybe he was like kind of two-faced, but he seemed to do a good job. He seemed to help. He seemed to be nice. I kind of liked him. So it was a weird thing, right? It's a weird, they try to like make it seem like the Sorcerer King had his own goals, and maybe he did, but it seemed like he was just kind of helping out. He didn't seem to be like calculating or two-faced, but this scene makes it seem like he is that. They ask about Custodio, and Lord Demir says he's not going to kill her because she can let the nobles vent against her. So Custodio is safe. Things are brewing, might be a civil war, but that is Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom. Also, there's a stinger after the credits. There, you got the Sorcerer King and CZ in the carriage. CZ says that this mission was hard, but that she liked Baraha. And then the Sorcerer King asks, like, what'd you think of the weapons? What'd you think of her weapons? Did anyone ask about the rune weapons? I think he was trying to like get some more praise, and she's just like doesn't answer. So that is Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom. Like I said, I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. I liked the characters. I liked the violence. I liked the animation. So I definitely think you should check it out when it comes at the years on November 8th, 2024. And if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.